listen. We can't all come out the gate swinging and establishing that it is peak fiction. You know, like Kamierabi, God.app.
They have quite possibly.
Kamierabi, God.app is the best show ever made. Like I cannot even begin to describe how incredible it is. It is actually insane how they just straight up made the best episode of anything ever made, and they didn't even break a sweat, bro.
The Kubrick stare is one of director Stanley Kubrick's most recognizable directorial techniques, a method of shot composition where a character stares at the camera with a forward tilt to convey to the audience that they are at the peak of their derangement.
Yeah, there you are reading my Discord message. Fuck you. I spent 2 seconds coming up with that joke. How dare you?
I spent 2 seconds going to the Wikipedia article.
Yeah, that was a hard 2 seconds. I broke a sweat there. I had blood, sweat, and tears everywhere. Copy and pasting that from... Actually, it was a YouTube comment, but I digress.
Depending on your opinion of Yoko Taro, you would be incredibly surprised / not surprised at all that he was the mastermind behind this work of art.
It's like he looked at.
So Yoko Taro is, because I'm not too familiar with him. Is he the Nier guy?
Yeah, he's the Nier / Drakengard guy.
And he wrote the stories for those games.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Was he the director of them too?
Well, in what way? Like the supervisor? Yes.
Was he like the director of the game, or was he just like the story
game directors
guy?
are a little bit different than anime directors, so he wasn't the director for the game, to my knowledge.
I know he's not the director of the show. I'm saying, was he the director of the Nier /
No. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Game directors, they don't like in an anime. They're directing the shots and the story and all that shit, all the moving parts. But game directors are a little bit different. Like I don't know exactly how they work. I don't think he was.
All right, you're going on a very long-winded explanation.
I don't.
To my yes or no question,
I don't think he was.
Okay, in the time that you did that, I googled it, and yes, he is the director of the Nier. And
okay, well then there you
games.
go. Yeah, creative director. That's the word I was looking for. He's not like the director of the game. He's the director of the story part of the game. The creative director, I guess, is what it's called.
Yeah, but also the game.
No, because that was directed by a guy who knows how video games works and had to implement gameplay functions and shit like that. They're different roles. Like
Okay, I'm looking at Nier Automata and Nier 2010 pages right now. Nier Replicant. They're all saying they're directed by Yoko Taro.
He's the creative director. He wrote the story, and he said you have to do this and this, and you should have these gameplay elements. But he is not the director of the game because he doesn't know how to make video games. They're not the same exact thing. That's why they're credited differently. I don't know what website you're looking at, but
I'm Wikipedia.
I was also looking at what.
I know there are different roles in game. Okay, we're going way too off topic.
It doesn't matter.
We go back to peak.
This show is like Yoko Taro looked at Mirai Nikki Future Diaries and Platinum In and was like, what if they didn't suck? I can do that, but better. And yeah, it's a disappointing that it's CG show, but it has more movement than most 2D animation shows. So, I mean, whatever.
Here's the crazy thing, though. They move like shit. They're very stiff and
why are the pedestrians
the facial
gray?
Animations?
I never knew I needed fucking Yoko Taro and Okubo to work together on a project until I got this show. Because Okubo is the guy who, for those who don't know, he created Fire Force and Soul Eater. That's why these designs look hella familiar. And bro, it's so good. Like these two were meant for each other. Like, why have they not made something before then? I'm going to look up the show too, because there's another big writer on this project, and I don't remember who it was. But you guys can talk while I do that.
Oh, well, whoever they were, they brought more than their A game. They brought their Omega game. Because this is
To what aspect of the show in particular?
all of it. You know, the writing, the animation. It's
I
peak
mean,
all the way
it is
around.
peak fiction.
That's a 5 on my anime list. Bunch
did
of
you
heathens.
cry when
I shed it. Well, I
So-
shed a tear when the guy started jerking off in front of the girl as she
Dude, it's so good.
watched.
You know, my favorite part of the show is when the teacher explains Schrodinger's cat, and then the kid named Schrodinger goes to the street and sees a
I
cat.
fucking actually howled with laughter when
Dude,
the cat
that's
got
fucking
splattered across
hilarious.
the road.
I did
For, like,
too.
no
I
reason.
couldn't stop laughing.
It didn't even
No,
come
there
back
is
to,
a
like-
reason. Okay, so there is technically a reason. It just doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. Because think about it. It's kamierabi. What does kami mean? God. The God in God.app. He has the God.app. The world is messed up, and the current God isn't doing much to fix it. Therefore, it's up to the characters to become God and fix the world. So when he sees the cat die, and then the gray goop pedestrians don't react and just walk completely
I just thought they couldn't react.
unrealistically-
They didn't react because they were
because-
physically
No.
incapable. Because they're a bunch of gray goose scenario
No, like,
monsters.
If you think about them canon, right? I think that was intentional. I think the idea was that they just didn't react to show the darkness of humanity, so that the main character, horrified
A
and
peek into my
traumatized,
twisted world.
then the Kubrick stare happens, and he knows he has to fix everything. He knows that he has to become God in order to, in order to.
Yeah,
can't
I
say
got
it.
like the most dramatic whiplash that I've ever seen watching a TV show where the guy all of a sudden this comes out of nowhere. Like he takes the girl to this little underground arcade where all the machines still work, and they're gonna play some PS3 or some shit. And I guess the one Soul Eater looking friend had porn on, like really weird porn of the guy just like jerking off in front of the girl on the couch. And like as he's trying to like desperately turn off because he thinks it's a prank by the friend, he's like, "Oh, what the fuck, man? He set me up." Then the girl, who had at no point expressed any interest in the guy, like
no, you
sexually or,
misunderstand. It's because he said he
promiscuous.
wanted the girl on the God app. It asked for his wish. So
Yeah,
she's
I know that.
enlisting being mind controlled.
Yeah, but then how is she able to then go out of her way to kill him? Unless that was the extent of his fooling around.
Do you doubt Peak for a second, Neon? It's because
I mean, I
the
guess I
mind
shouldn't
control
doubt a guy who
stops
says Nier Automata
because,
shirts available now and then
Square
rolls around on the
Enix.
floor. So,
That's exactly what he said.
To be fair, the mechanics in this show are not explained very well.
you know what Yoko Taro looks like, don't you, Crunchy?
no,
He's
I
the
have
guy
no
with
idea.
the big moon-looking
Okay, let me-
mask head
Yoko-
thing.
Yeah, Google Yoko Taro, and you know what, I'll do it for you. This is what he looks like.
Yeah, I'm on Google right now. Okay, so he's got
He's a silly
mask.
little goofy goober, and that's what makes his stuff so good. It's funny we were talking about like Kusoge, like shit games back in Shangri-La.
He's like
he specializes in that.
he's like a Suda 5-1 or a
Yeah, he's
Kojima type.
fantastic.
He's a very
He's like-
in the
He's
in the
like
Japanese
if
gaming world.
Nishio Isio made video games, but specifically made them really shitty because he thought it was funny.
Well, I thought Nier Automata was like
That's
pretty
made by
beloved, though.
Platinum. And
Replicant.
you could tell a lot of the things that he's known for in Drakengard and the original Nier are a little bit more, ironically, like Shy. They're kind of like ironed out to make for a more consumer-friendly
you say
product.
that, but there is a thing. There's an option in Nier Automata where you can take out a the chip and like the mechanic in Automata where you can just straight up
no,
disable parts
it
of
still
your HUD
has his
to
charm in it,
put
but
stuff-
overall the product is
Yeah.
ironed out to be more consumer-friendly. People, if you ask most people who like Nier and Drakengard and all that,
I
they
would
don't-
not consider Automata.
they're consumer friendly. That's why it's sold so well and everybody likes it. But if you ask them the other games they like, they're like, nah, Drakengard's dog shit. But that's the point. It's supposed to be dog shit. That's what makes it so good. That's what he goes for. Automata,
Well, if you think Automata is consumer friendly, what the fuck do you call God.app?
well, look at the My Anime list, Corey, and you tell me.
What, you mean that beautiful little 5?
like I
that it's
told
got
you
right
earlier,
now?
My Anime list doesn't fucking mean shit in terms of like scoring. but even in consensus it doesn't mean anything. All that, I'm sorry, in this point it does. The consensus is telling you that this is a fantastic show. One of you had told me that if it's below a 7 on my anime list, it's probably not good. This show proves that's complete dog shit. These people just don't understand what peak fiction really is. These are the same people who would play Drakengard and go, this game fucking sucks. It's not any good. Then they play Nier Automata and go, yo, this is really good. How come this guy doesn't make more stuff? Because they can't get into what makes him so fun as an auteur, which is he rolls around in shit and he thinks it's funny. He just does things that he thinks is funny, but because he's such a quirky little asshat, it makes for a product that is hella fun. And then, on top of that, it has character designs.
Never gotten more dramatic whiplash of the guy jerking off in front of the girl all of a sudden. And then the shoulder demon appears and tells him he's now in Platinum
It's
End.
Platinum End, but if it...
And this happens like in 10 seconds apart, by the way.
It's like Under Ninja, right? Where you weren't sure if it was taking itself seriously or not, and that wasn't funny. This just goes balls to the wall in the complete... In that direction, but it goes all the way with it. Like, it's just the wackiest, silliest shit you can think of.
It is very much
yes,
pants on
but
head
it's
retarded.
so good because of that. It's so on the nose. The Schrodinger's cat thing you guys were talking about is perfect.
It is not
Dude,
good.
it's amazing. It's so good. You gotta play Drakengard, then Nier Automata to really appreciate that Nier Automata is a good game, but it is not a good Yoko Taro game. It's a good game. It's obviously it plays the best out of all that dog shit. The other ones play like shit, but that's not what he's going for. He goes for these crippling, depressing bullshit.
What he's going for isn't that good.
I would call it. I dare to call it avant-garde.
It is. There's an audience,
but I think I feel like it's a different meaning. I feel like avant-garde this whole time is actually like translates to fucking dog shit.
In the same way that you guys were like asking, like, why does the guy in Shangri-La play shitty games and how is that going to translate and blah, blah, blah. You have to be into that kind of thing. He played shitty video games because he loved it.
Well, see, now if we're operating on that logic, this just makes me think Yoko Taro has a fetish where he wants to just have girls watch him jerk
Yoko
off
Taro
in front of him.
doesn't have a specific... He has lots of different fetishes in the same way Fujimoto from Chainsaw Man has that like weird...
Well, we know he's an ass man.
We know he's an ass
we
man.
Definitely know he's an ass man.
The only reason 2B is a girl and wears high heels is because he thought that would be hot, so he did it. He's the type of guy who does things because he thinks it would be funny, and that ends up... And because he's so weird and has such a funny sense of humor, it ends up being fun and good. But you have to be into that sort of thing.
I have a question for both of you. What genre would you say the opening song of this show is?
I don't remember it.
See, I did re-listen to it because I didn't think it was half bad, but it starts
really
off. It starts.
I can
off...
only describe it as circus penis music.
Circus penis music.
I racked my brain to think of more like exact terminology, but I could not like. Those were the two words that like came to mind the most. The OP's a clip show, by the way.
Okay, yeah. Well, the visuals of the OP are utter garbage. It's just filtered footage from the show.
It's hard, right? Because on one hand, objectively, this looks like dog shit.
What the fuck are those?
Dude, it has the silliest. It has the silliest school uniforms. I was trying to say that when you introduced the show, but I wasn't able to.
Where are the sleeves? Why do they have no sleeves? They're like tank tops with
In a way,
suspenders.
the anime intrinsically understands Yoko Taro to a T, and that it makes the shittiest product possible to go with his shitty, fantastic writing, right? Because that's his whole shtick.
Kamierabi on AniList has a 47%.
It looks like complete dog shit, and normally that would be a point against it. It's like, this looks like shit, it's animated like shit, CG's bad, blah, blah, blah. But that's kind of the entire point. That's what he goes for with his video games, too. So it, like, kind of works? It's not.
It does to me.
Yeah,
It
but
did
I
not
feel like
work
I
in the
would. I feel
slightest.
like I would get something out of Nier Automata or Drakengard or any of the Nier
I mean,
games. Whereas even like outside of just the game part itself, I feel like I'd get like something out of the story. I feel like I got nothing
you watched
out of
one
this
episode.
but like
You watched one
like
episode.
trauma.
You
Yeah,
gotta
exactly.
you played like the whole fucking game.
I
You
watched enough.
No. Oh,
There
so
was a
you're
lot
saying
that
that you would
watched
get
it
a
in
lot out of
25 years,
Nier?
my
So
friend.
you'd get a lot out of Nier if you played it for 20 minutes?
See,
Exactly.
No, but I feel like the first 20 minutes of Nier does not have the same amount of content or events that happen to it. World-shattering events.
You
as this
have to
show.
give it more time. Like, for example, when I watch something and I drop it,
I cannot see a world where this show
it is definitely good. You just don't understand it. And that's fine. That's okay.
I'm glad that you're committing to the bit longer.
This isn't a bit for me. I think it was legitimately good. This is fantastic. I mean, not in every way. It definitely has shitty parts to it, but it's not a bad show. But if you're not the target audience,
It's
if you're
terrible.
a casual, you're gonna hate it. And you guys are outing yourselves right now.
Okay, if you're okay, fine. Let me try and summarize your point. If you like good shows, you will not.
Didn't
like
you guys
this
just
show.
say
If you like
Oshinoko was a
bad
good
shows,
show?
You will love this show.
You just
Yes.
so
we
then you
did-
don't
we
like
did
good
say
shows.
Oshinoko
So then
is
you
a good
don't like
show.
good shows.
Because Oshinoko is a good
What
show.
part of Oshinoko outside of the first episode was a good show? Was it the part with the inconsistent character writing?
Akane.
That's a waifu bait show. That doesn't have anything to do with the writing of the show.
Waifu bait?
Literally,
She was gonna kill
only
herself.
thing I hear about that show over and over again are waifu wars. And I'm like, well, that doesn't make it a good show that's sticking to a
Okay,
point.
it's literally only a waifu war because there's an actual waifu war going on
Because
inside
there
the
are-
show of two girls fighting over the main guy.
Okay, but every time I ask someone to tell me what's good about the show, they bring up the waifus, not the mystery subplot, not the isekai subplot, not the consistency in the writing.
Okay, you have very shallow friends.
You
then.
just brought up a waifu when I asked you what was good about this show.
I said
I
yeah
said
because
the
she's the focal
characterization
point.
was good.
I brought up Akane because of she's the focal
Characterization.
point of one of the best
You're
episodes
talking about
of
the episode
year.
where she looks at like 2 mean comments online and goes, "Yeah, guess I should kill myself."
It is
was
more
way
than
more than
two.
It's
two.
like,
you
It
fucking
was-
"Guess
asshole.
I should kill myself." The entire show is
You
horribly
was
done.
not.
Two. What are you
Flanderizing
talking
the
about?
fuck out of this show right
which
now.
I believe is the episode you guys are referencing.
you are
is
flanderizing the fuck
the
out
show
of
with
this
the-
show, dude. You did not
the
watch
show.
the
I watched the entire.
episode.
The entire show. The episode with Akane is better put together and more in line with the first episode of the show. But the entire issue with that show is it goes, here is the thing we are setting up, and it's not about that thing anymore. It's going to be about stuff that he looked up on Wikipedia.
Okay, I do agree.
I'm not saying-
in the podcast. I did lament the fact that we dropped that sub.
They do that with a lot of
plot
stuff.
line in favor of
and a
some
lot of
idle
the things
pursuit.
that...
But the show's still good. But yo, all right, no. I'm cutting. I'm
No,
putting
no,
up-
no.
I'm
This
cutting
ties
one
in.
up.
This
I'm pulling a
ties into
plug on this one.
Kamierabi. I'm saying that show did that very frequently, where it would bring something up and then it doesn't. It gives you like this basic Wikipedia article read of it, and then never goes back to it, and it just devolves into waifu wars as it goes on. It is not. That does not mean it does not have good episodes, but it is not an example of a good show. If you like it, that's completely fine. But to say something like this is bad because you didn't
It's so
didn't
bad!
understand it, you don't see the irony in that?
What? Okay. What is
What
there
did
not
I
to
not
understand?
understand?
Jerked off, and then a demon showed up. That's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, it is. That's
Yeah, but it's not funny in
when you
a
s- and it
charming
doesn't-
way. It just
yeah, it's a
sucks.
funny and like look at how incompetent this show is.
Incompetent
Type of
is
way.
a strong word that you don't understand.
It's very
It's-
Did you not see those background NPCs? The girls that were calling to that one female character, when they're on screen, they're in the background. They're clearly saying dialogue to the girl because she's looking at them and acknowledging them. They don't move. Their mouths don't move. They don't even emote. They are still, they are statues. They are gray
Well,
and
that's
they
the
are
production of the
there.
show. What does that have to do with the writing?
Well,
Yeah,
at times
that's
it
still
can mess
part of
with
the
the
show.
writing when the background characters
Okay. You want to talk about the writing? You want to talk about the fucking writing? You want to talk about the fucking writing? Where does the spell book come from? Where main guy literally pulled a spell book out of his ass and
Not everything has to be explained.
Yeah, he knew exactly how to use it, like instantly. How?
Oh, what about when Aqua was a doctor but knew such intrinsic things about the idol and entertainment industry? Oh.
Because he was a fan of it and did his research.
That's not the exact same thing of knowing to a T how things work.
He's a fucking sociopath in disguise.
Because I sure didn't get that motivation when he was a doctor. I got that he was like a pedophile, but not that he was a sociopath. It's almost like...
Wow, it's almost like there was a before and after.
Just completely...
There's almost like it was a traumatic event that changed his life forever.
It's almost like he completely changes...
someone
he completely changes characters from who he was before he got isekai'd, because that was just a plot point to include so that you could have, I don't know, another genre list on your thing. This type of show, I will say, the production...
Well, I wonder what would cause him to completely change.
Damn,
could it be the death of a loved one?
I wonder if his idol/mom was murdered right in front of him. I wonder if that would
become vengeful, not to become some sociopath who knows about stuff that he never studied under. And there's also a point in the show where he says... There's a point in the show in episode 2 where he says, yes, I got into the school. I got into the school. Hold on. I got into the school because I used to be a doctor. I used to be a doctor in my old life, right? And then in the next episode, he's like, oh yeah, my mental capability is starting to catch up to my physical body when he was like 15 years old. I'm like, no, it's not. You just said it wasn't. That's besides the point. That show has a lot of the same shit you guys are criticizing this show for.
The only cool thing that happened...
When it comes...
you're
incorrect. When it comes to the production, I will give that to you. It does look like dog shit. Like, it's not properly well animated. The CG looks like ass. The directing is... Yeah, it's the same guy who directed those shitty Godzilla movies on Netflix, the CG ones, so... And Knights of Sidonia, the movie, or whatever, the OVA or whatever that was on Netflix... It's not fantastic.
Okay, so what I'm hearing from you right now is the directing sucks, the animation sucks, the visuals all around suck. Not everything in the story is like cohesive or
but it aligns.
Engaging. What am I supposed to like?
I never said you were gonna like it. I said it's for a specific subsection of people, and you can go. Yeah, see, that's your problem. Instead of going, I don't like it. And that's my thing. You just go ahead and you say this like blanket statement that anybody who likes it is dumb, and then you out yourself by saying you like garbage like Oshinoko. And it's like, it's the same shit that you're complaining about on different levels.
When I say that someone is dumb...
You're just outing yourself for
not
not
a hipster. I like Kaguya-sama.
Okay, so when I say someone is dumb for liking a show, it's like, it's me being exaggerated. I don't think that everyone who likes... I don't think everyone who doesn't like Dragon Maid is an idiot.
Well,
I'll call them an idiot to their face because they don't like a really
If
good
God.app is your favorite show in the world, more power to you.
But you're also dumb.
I thought
facetious.
I'm saying, right, if you don't like the show, right, but you also don't intrinsically understand what kusoge is as a genre, then you can't necessarily...
Video game.
Kusoge is... It does mean shit game, but it can be applied... It's shit things in general, right? If you understand what that is... Let me finish. If you understand...
I understand that there...
If you understand what that is, and you still don't like the show, then that's fine. But if you tell people who do understand what that is... that the show that they like is dog shit, you gotta come with points to back it up. And when some of the stuff that you complain about is found in shows, but when the points that you come with is found in the shows that you like, you see how that applies a contradiction to. In order to avoid this, you just say, I understand why some people could like it.
Argued against your points.
And you were incorrect. What's your point?
Yeah, because you
didn't prove me wrong. You didn't prove me wrong with any of the Oshinoko points. You just kept trying to cut me off because that's not what the podcast is about.
Because you said that you were blatantly wrong about things about
When I
Akane,
said
first
that,
of all,
when
so
I said
we were
that the
correcting
writing
you
was
there.
inconsistent, and then I supplied you examples with how it was inconsistent with even exact episode numbers.
No, when you said Akane got when you flanderized
I corrected
Akane
myself,
by saying,
and
oh,
I
she
said
got fed by
that.
looking at
See,
two
Spuddle,
social...
Spuddle, when you said the writing is inconsistent, you literally said one thing that I agreed with. But the writing being
No, with the-
inconsistent in one aspect, like, I don't like the idea that his brain is regressing into that of like a 17-year-old. They were saying my brain is catching up to me. Okay, but like that's just an excuse for you to be able to.
There are.
I don't think that makes.
There are
much
several
sense.
instances where if we sat and nitpicked it, there would be similar issues, not obviously the exact same, but similar issues you had with this show that popped up there. I corrected myself on the Akane bit. I said that episode was good, and I never said that show couldn't have good episodes. I love the first episode, and I think it's a very well done example of how you do a premiere like that. But I'm saying that this show is like a turd, but it's got some glitter on it, right? There are things to like about this show.
Okay, we're looking at the turd and saying that it's
And
a turd.
I'm telling you that this turd has some sparkle to it.
But you're telling us that we're wrong for saying that it's a turd when you...
No. I'm telling you that you're wrong for saying that it's a turd, but not understanding why that turd can be appealing to other people.
I understand that if you have bad
I understand
taste,
why it can
you
be
can
appealing.
enjoy it
if you let me
ironically.
fucking finish the thing that I wanted to say about it, where I said the one aspect of the show that I thought was unironically cool as fuck is the girl she takes a knife and she plunges it into a corpse and pulls out fucking Soul Edge from Soul Calibur, and then later does the same thing with she carries around a thing of meat from the butcher, from the meat shop, and then she does the same thing to get the sword back. I thought that's a cool idea. That's like a cool you could do that from fucking Jujutsu Kaisen.
I thought it was really cool too. Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that show if that was like pulled from JJK or some show like that. That was the extent of the things I watched from the show and thought, wow, that was cool, because that's clearly what the show is trying to invoke in its fight.
Well, I mean, I would know. I didn't watch it, but
What?
I like how you both look at it. Yeah, no, I didn't watch this show. I was just playing devil's advocate the whole time.
All right, kick and ban.
Yeah, no, I didn't have time to get around to this show.
We talked about this.
This is the only one.
For like 30
I know.
minutes.
I did the same thing the first podcast you guys brought me on. I didn't watch I watched like 3 shows out of that one.
Okay, but see, the difference here is that you explicitly said you watched everything except Yuzuki Family.
No, I said no. I
know you couldn't have been lying about that.
I said I watched everything.
You brought up the
I said I watched everything
and I saw the
I
shitty
said I
subtitles
watched
too. So
I
knew
said
you
I
couldn't
watched
have been lying
everything
about
to
that.
completion. This is not something except for Yuzuki, but I didn't have time to finish this one either. I was watching it before the podcast started.
How many minutes did you get into it?
Fucking, I don't remember the Schrodinger's cat thing. I think not very far.
Okay, well, it wasn't even Schrodinger. Crunchy.
No,
made it up
I'm
as,
talking about the screen. I'm talking about the fucking image that he posted when the cat gets hit by the truck.
Cat got run over by a truck.
But I didn't I literally watched this.
He made up the
I'm
bit
not
about
talking
Schrodinger.
about the bit itself. I'm talking about that specific still frame or whatever.
Scene. Okay.
I didn't get very far.
Okay,
we
so
watched it.
Did not make it to the guy
No,
jerking
but that
off.
sounds fucking funny.
And yet you played devil's advocate for a show you did not even finish.
Because I thought it would be funny.
All right, so kill yourself.
I thought it was hilarious. Plus, it's Yoko Taro.
Yeah,
I mean, you were
it is funny. It is the bit was funny, but now I'm also never gonna take anything you say seriously again. When you used it as a scapegoat to shit all over Oshinoko, now that I know it's in bad faith.
The arguments I made in Oshinoko were in good faith, but we weren't talking about that show. I only brought it up because one of you did. Okay. But you guys were leading in.
I'm very positive you did.
You can check it. If it was
I
me,
have the audio
if it was me, then I will admit to wrongdoing. But I don't think it was me.
I'm going to replay. I'm gonna listen back to this in post, and I'm going to replay right now who brought up Oshinoko first at what time point.
Okay, if you're okay, fine. Let me Spuddle. Let me try and summarize your point. If you like good shows, you will not.
Didn't
like
you guys
this
just
show.
say
If you like
Oshinoko was a
bad
good
shows,
show?
you will love this
You,
show.
you just. Damn, he gonna pull it up in real time. That's crazy.
Okay,
Alright, and then
now
it happens
moving
in
on
real
to a show
time.
that we're gonna spend because we're going on too long because it's bit now.